Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release, offering quality programming since 1971. Welcome everyone, we're back in August of 1982. We were playing Donkey Kong Jr. and that song is still in my head. I know it is with yours too. Let's see what our next game is. Actually, before we go to our next game, I have to go back. I want to go review Bomb Squad and do a slight tweak. Whenever I was rating this, I thought of it as all the games of all time instead of console games, so I have to give this a notch, a 1 above, and give it a 4-star rating and not a 3.5-star rating. So Bomb Squad, a tip of the hat. It offers the complexity, fun, and originality, and it is an excellent game. Alright, so without further ado, let's see what's after Donkey Kong 2. It's time to go on the Commodore PET. Anyone remember that? Of all the games in the original Trinity, I would say this is the one that's falling behind compared to the TRS-80 and the Apple II. But here it is. Let's play some Acrobat II. This is one that we don't have a box for, just a few screenshots, so let's just pop in and play some Acrobat II. This is by Commodore Japan Limited. It is August 15th, 1982. Oh yes, classic. Now if you look at the outside, the Model 2001 series is the original model of the Commodore PET. At this point, you're hopefully in the 3000 series of the Commodore PET. We're currently playing on the 3008 system, and this is Acrobat 2, and this is confusing. There's no sequel to Acrobat. They're just using the moniker of the Apple II, you know, the reverse brackets, but there's no Apple II version. We're playing this on the Commodore PET. I'm very confused. So do we want instructions? Yes, maybe they'll explain what it is. Acrobat 2, moving left and right is 4 and 6. The score table is, oh, that's it. So we just got to move left and right. We have jumps, balloons, and there's all our points so we can score everything. I got it. Man, look at all those. You got to know what the points are in 1982. All right, so spacebar to go. Let's do this. Nice, getting some sound, a little tune. Oh, and we just died that fast. Ambulance is a nice touch. Let's try it again. Okay, oh, there it is. I showed up late to the party, and we crashed again. We are playing with some classic Petsky characters. We've been seeing most of these on the Commodore VIC-20, but now we get to have the actual Petsky characters. Look at this. This is awesome. We still have the crunching, crumbling of bodies. Been around with this since December of 1977 when we first played Circus in the arcades. And now we get to play it at home. Man, the sound from the Commodore PET's pretty cool. We hear that quite a bit on home computers, but Commodore PET, though, it's becoming few and far between to see games. The TRS-80, due to the Model 3 that's out, it's been doing a lot better. The games we've been seeing, and it's not really the original TRS-80, but the first series of games that came out in 1977, oh man, we already got a game over? All right. We see a lot more releases, especially arcade titles on the Commodore or the TRS-80, but Commodore PET, we're going to get less and less. All right, no instructions. Let's just go. Yeah, the melting effect. Oh, man. Yeah, the classic green hue. Yeah, it works the way it's supposed to. You just have 2 keys you need, but slightly cumbersome considering the other versions that have been out there. After we saw Circus, we saw it on Bally Astrocade at home, and then we also saw Clowns in 1978, which is essentially the same idea as Circus, and then Atari brought their version home in June of 1980. The best version of this kind of game we've seen, the Clowns or Circus game, was Clowns and Balloons on the Atari 800 in June of this year, in 1982. So that one's a pretty good title. This one, though, I couldn't really call it good, except the fact that I'm just loving playing with solid Petsky characters on the Commodore PET. And it does work. You only need 2 buttons. It's offering us a little nice tune. When we die, we still have melting bodies and crunching. Well, we don't have the crunching sound effects, but the bodies are still dying since 1977. Yeah, plays well. Responds well, except for that weird problem we had in the beginning. Yeah, fairly simple gameplay. It's just like we're playing a Pong-style game, but just we're using bodies instead. Almost like People Pong on the Apple II. Oh, we're going to see another one in September. Yeah, it's not the end. We're going to see quite a bit of Circus and Clowns later on. Today's high score, very nice. And what we see here is what you get. It's not going to go anything past that. One player only affair. The melting Petsky character is awesome. All right, so there you go. That's Acrobat II. They didn't explain why it's using the Apple II reverse brackets, but I'll take it. Of all the games we've seen to this point, it's still around the bad range if you think of everything you could be playing on a home computer, but I love the Commodore PET. I'd be willing to go like two and a half, but it's still around the bad range considering all the other games out there for home computers. This type of game you can play better on other systems as well. Yeah, that's true. They didn't do anything special after they're all cleared because after that, it just goes to the next screen. It's also similar to the game we saw on the Atari VCS called Seesaw, but there's other ones and better ones to play. I see Mark throwing out 2.5 stars, but that's very generous. Yeah. Oh, that's true. If this was only games we were playing on the Commodore PET, yes, I would go higher, but I'm still going to say of all the games, of all the home computers, 2 stars it is. Errol's throwing out 2.5 as well. Yeah. All right. After Acrobat II, I really don't want to leave the Commodore PET. We don't get as much love. The games are going to be few and far between now. Let's see what's next. It's time to go to the Apple II, the other one that was originally released in 1977. This is Rocky's Boots. If you are familiar with this game, you're in for a treat. If you're not, you're still in for a treat. Let's take a look at the box for Rocky's Boots. This is by The Learning Company, one of the ones that set it out as being The Learning Company. Widely acclaimed electronic erector set, more than 40 games teach the basics of building computers. A software classic, it says on the front of the box. Award-winning program from The Learning Company, and yes, it is award-winning. Oh yeah, especially for programmers. This game is it's an educational title, but it's not really for early childhood. It does teach how computers work, like logic-based mini games, but the way it plays the game is what makes this special. It's the game everyone's talking about. Master fundamental concepts of logic and computer circuitry. I'm already getting tingly thinking about it. Designing animated logic machines, simulated computer circuits, and you create your own games in this game. It's a game that you can create your own games. Very, very basic games, though. So there's a 5.25 floppy disk to play on the original Apple II. This is going to be released in other places as well. Oh man, so cool. We also have the manual, the later release manual that you would have seen for Rocky's Boots, because this one includes all the other systems. The first one, Apple II, was in 1982. We're not going to see the other ones until much later. Yeah, there you go. You can see all the different systems. It runs on Apple II, 2 Plus, 2C, Commodore 64, 128. Yeah, we don't know what those systems are. This is the later revision of the manual. It also shows you the different types you can be playing on: color monitor, disc, double-sided disk drive, and then look at that, the Tandy 1000. Again, I don't know what they're talking about. All right, so Learning Company. It shows the beginning and history of this company. Started in 1982, where we are now. Possibly with this game. I'm not sure, but we do have an acclaimed developer that worked on this for us. Oh yeah, same engine used in Robot Odyssey. Good shout out there, Curtis. Yeah. No, I don't think so, Victor. All right, so after we do the quick history of the Learning Company, this is a classic hailed by New York Times, apparently. Award-winning Rocky Boots helps develop skills in logical problem solving. Circuitry, circuit design, and logic are explored in a motivating environment where players are inventing machines to solve puzzles and win 30 different games, including games they design themselves. They have interactive tutorials here, and they have just almost like it's young inventing what you get to do on this game. And the author, yes, there it is, Warren Robinett. Hot off the heels of doing Adventure, and then before that, Slot Racers on the Atari VCS. Here he is, the same developer doing Rocky's Boots. Giving a little background on Warren Robinett there, very nice. Oh, and there's Rocky. I don't think I've ever seen him because I haven't seen the manual. He's an actual mascot character for a home computer. Have you ever wondered how a computer works? Have you ever wondered, Jimmy? It's an amazing machine, really. Not as complex as you think. In Rocky's Boots, you'll work with some of the same electronic parts that engineers use to build computers. Machines that won't boot disks. They will boot targets out of kicking areas to win games for you. That's the idea behind Rocky's Boots. To build winning machines, you learn how to connect wires to electronic parts like logic gates, timers, and switches. All that and more. 90 different rooms to explore in Rocky's Boots. Some are for learning, and then you can also make your own, which is a big highlight of that. I actually need to make a note of that. So whenever we catalog this, this is one of the design your own games. Yeah. And after you learn all the basics and you go through the tutorial, then you actually get to make your own games from this. Pretty cool. There it shows you on the Apple computer what to do, and that's what we're going to be plugging in. We might see this manual again when we see it on the other systems. Yeah, he thought he was a squirrel. He looks more like a raccoon, right? Yeah, he's got the like mask on, so he must be a raccoon. All right, so you choose the program you want from the title, and then it shows you how to move if you got the Apple II joystick, and we do. We'll be moving around, building machines, logic gates. There's Rocky's Boots, how 8 games are played in different ones. Then we have flip-flops, and then Rocky's Challenge, 30 different games, and then designing your own game. Great manual, too. It's meant for, I'd say, 4th or 5th grade, maybe even higher than that. Because I still have enjoyment playing this for the first time and love the concept. It's so cool. Yes, before he was bullwinkled. Love it. Yeah, they're showing you all the different parts that you'll be putting together in the game, and then they have practice rooms to play as well. How logic gates work, and then how to build your own games too. Going from the game select screen, I mean, look at this. Manual is pretty extensive, but it is still simple to understand. And the way that Warren Robinette displays the game and the gameplay, it makes it really easy to pick up and go. Oh, look at this. They have the map. Really similar to Adventure. Check it out. Yeah, it's going through the world of Rocky. Nice job there. And then we also have solutions to the games in the manual. No way, really? Okay, they can be solved in more than one way. That's pretty much what all they're saying. Yeah, there we go. So here's some of the examples of the puzzles, and then you have to go in and solve them. Wow, yeah, all these different if and or statements, and then you're trying to complete the loops. That's great. So in a way, it's also part puzzle game too. So you can make your own games over on the left side if you want to. It takes a little bit of time, but if you played a lot and you're familiar with this, especially those that have used this in schools, then it's not one of those games that you were forced to play because you didn't want to. This is truly a really fun title. Look at all that. Yeah, a lot to read here. All the stuff that you would have seen on the electronics, too. It's time to pop in and play some Rocky's Boots by Warren Robinette and Leslie Grimm of the Learning Company. It's August 15th, 1982. There it is. All right, so what do we want to do first? Let's just go with how to move. They want you to do it in this order. So we get to control the little orange box. Looks kind of familiar, right? It's very similar to Adventure that we played on the Atari VCS. So we move around. You can also do keyboard, and you can also use the mouse. What? The mouse? Wait, move the mouse. No, I don't have a mouse plugged into my Apple II right now. It's the future. All right, so what we do is move into the next room, and we just follow the prompts. You're in the different room. It has blue walls. At the door at the bottom leads to the room, and you just follow the path. So it's almost like they're teaching us how to play Adventure on the Atari VCS. But pretty cool that we're doing this on the Apple II. To pick up the bird, you run into it and you use your joystick button. Yeah, just like Adventure, picking up the items. You don't have to bump into them, though. You have to actually use the button. And then when you want to drop it, push the button again. Yeah, check it out. So cool. Yes, and much more fun than electrocuting yourself using circuit boards. You can move faster on the keyboard by using the repeat key, but if you notice on the joystick, I have really slow movement and fast movement. Fine-tune controls. To make the noisy bird quiet, use Control S, and we've seen that hotkey on the Apple II to turn off sound. We're going to keep that bird going. He can keep making noise. We'll keep going down here. And then to move move small steps at a time, you have on the joystick you already have that, but if you want to do that on the keyboard, use IJ and K. So we pick up Lincoln's hat, and then just place it on his head. Beautiful. And then go to the next room. And then Mrs. Bones or Miss Bones says, "Take me out." I don't really want to take you out, but it's showing you how to use the key, put it in the key socket. In a way, I feel like I'm programming a more advanced Adventure on the Atari. And then there's Mrs. Bones. Can we do anything with her? Whoa, look at that. That's awesome. and they get put back together. I want to carry this around. Can we go to the next room with it? Wow, so cool. Yeah, it feels like I'm playing an advanced adventure. To see the list of all special keys, you can type in the question mark, and then when you want to end how to move, we can press escape. And there he is, Rocky the Raccoon. In true form. Can we pick up Rocky? Yes, we can. Drag him around. Love it. So cool. All right, so press escape again to go to the main menu, and now we go to building machines. So I'm pushing number 2. Welcome to the machine builder. To learn, you go this way. Look how intuitive the interface is. Now, we don't play too many adventure or educational titles here on the channel, and most of them, if they're for early childhood, we breeze by them. I wanted to showcase this one because it's not necessarily for early childhood. It is educational, but it is a very impressive game in its own right. Look how well the user interface is. Oh, that's true for programming. Oh, that's a good point that they taught him that. Machines are like the lights in a house. Electricity turns them on. In this game, you can see the electricity. It's orange. Ooh, can we touch? Oh, so cool. And you can interact with what you're learning about. So let's move on to the next room. The little square shows where you are is orange. That means you have electricity. You can use it to turn things on. To turn this on and off sign, all you have to do is move on top of it. Oh, look, and they're teaching the binary, turning on and off the socket. So cool. Electricity gets in through the hole and turns it on. I'm learning so much already. Let's keep going. Here's another object if you can turn on and off. It's a clacker. You move on top of the socket. It's also called an input. This is because you have to put electricity in to turn it on. Man, if only I had this and played this whenever it first came out. Yes, that's a cool story, Errol. There's 2 more objects with input sockets, so let's do this one. Nice. Oh, okay, and this one moves forward like it's blowing air forward. Love it. See what they do? There's the Rocky's boots. That one actually kicks it. Awesome. Nice. So we turn those on, and this is a wire. Turn it on, the electricity flows from one end to the other, and you can see it does. It has an input socket on the end and an arrow on the other. The arrow is called the output because electricity comes out of it. Whoa. Warren Robinette's a genius. Arrow plug into sockets, grab the wire, and move its arrow close to the clacker's socket. Okay, so here we go. We got our arrow. Let's go ahead and pick it up, move it close. And then you connect it. Oh, so cool. And then the clacker goes. When you see the arrow hopping back and forth, it means it wants to plug in while it's hopping. Drop the wire. Now the clacker and wire are plugged together. Turn the wire and watch what happens. There you go. This is a splitter. It's used for setting the arrow out of the socket. We're getting the arrow out of the socket. They plug together very tightly, so you need a splitter to get them apart. Get the wire clacker, pick up the splitter, and bring it near the joint to split the clacker and wire apart. All right, let's go do it. Can we do it here? Move them together, and then you can move those there. There you go. And it took them apart, so now they're not joined together. Do I need to bring it to the other room? Let's see. Let's keep going to the side. These 2 wires, use these 2 wires to see what will connect to what. You can connect an arrow to a socket, but it doesn't work to connect an arrow to an arrow or a socket to a socket. So I can do what? These? Yep, there we go. And connect those 2 like that. Nice. And they're just getting you started in the beginning. Here he goes. Turn on the empty socket and watch the electricity flow. The electricity only flows one way from socket to arrow. There it is. Ooh, fancy. And then it turns off the same way. So cool. That's right. It does seem like we're playing an ad, but so well done. It's so cool. This is a blue sensor. It turns on whenever a blue object touches it. The blue part of it. This is what the blue egg used to turn the sensor on. So let's pick up our blue egg and touch the blue part of it. It turns on whenever a blue object touches the blue part of it. Got it. Ah, yeah, there we go. Touch the blue object to the blue part and turn it on. We even are allowed to drag things from room to room, which is kind of cool. Plug the blue sensor into the clacker, then move the whole thing so the moving blue block runs over the blue sensor. Okay, so the blue sensor into the blue clacker. There you go. And then move the whole thing over to the blue block. So pick the whole thing up, and then it's going to pass by. As soon as the blue hits it, it'll clack. Nice. And this is the blue sensor. If the blue object touches it, its blue part, it will turn on. So you can do the blue triangle and move it over there. like that. And you can connect the sensor to this on-off sign, and you can see it's not going to turn on until I put it over the top. Ooh, fancy. Oh, yes. That and many other stores that we've already seen several here on the channel so far. It's amazing. Now you know about wires, clackers, and sensors and how to build machines using them. You can learn about some more machine parts and logic gates. After that, you can play Rocky's Boots. Press escape when you're ready to go to the menu. And we have the practice rooms. So here's the beginning practice rooms. And you're putting the parts together and figuring out the puzzle for it. Does it allow us to go to the next room? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Here's the practice room. Awesome. So that's putting the parts together. And then what you can... Oh, this is awesome. So cool. And you just go back when you want to leave to go to the main menu. And now you can start doing the logic gates and then play the Rocky's Boots game. So that's just a preview of how the game's interface works and parts of the puzzle. But there's so much more. There's the logic gate learning, the game Rocky's Boots, playing the game Flip-Flops, Rocky's Challenge, which is where you can build your own. There's just a lot here in this game. So more than I could do justice here on the live show, but just so you can see what it looks like. It is a really impressive game for the time. All right, so after Rocky's Boots, of all the games you could play on a home computer, I can understand you saying, well, I mean, it's an educational title, and it's not necessarily as fun as other games you could play. I say this is an exceptional game. Of all the games you can play on a home computer, I'm going to say 4 stars for Rocky's Boots. There's more to it than this because you can also build your own games from that. I would love to see or hear from the chat if they are familiar with Rocky's Boots or did play this at the time. Compared to everything we've seen so far as home computer games, is this an excellent title for you, or is this even in the realm of one of the best computer games you could play up to this point? Oh, Curtis is going 4 or 4.5. Yeah, I almost thought about 4.5, but then I thought this may not be one of the best computer games you could play of all of them. Yes, that's true. We're not gonna see that one until a lot later. But yeah, I'm still gonna say 4 stars. Rocky's Boots shouldn't be missed. It's a pretty good one. Of all the games you could play. Yeah, I've never seen or heard of this game until someone brought it up on the interview on Coco Nation Live. All right, so after Rocky's Boots, let's see what our next game is. It's time to go to the arcade again and play Calipso. The release of Calipso. Not familiar with this one. Let's take a look at the ad for Calipso. Bring new life into your systems. This is by Tago Electronics. And this must be a conversion kit where you're turning your system or current arcade system into Calipso. Yes. And they're doing the Frankenstein motif. Nice touch. And there's some other stuff by Tago Electronics. The only other one we played is Anteater, a true classic in the arcades, but Calipso, I'm not familiar with that one. That's true. It is the only educational title that we've seen so far that teaches electronics and computing rather than something more obscure. But we're not even going to see Oregon Trail till later. Yeah, there's the fake arcade cabinet for Calipso, the arcade PCB. All you need is an 8-way joystick and the fire button, but this does offer 2 players to play simultaneously. So if you got a buddy that's in the arcades, you can play together and work together. Let's go to the arcades and play Calipso. This is Tago Electronics, August 16th, 1982. There we go. Now this one is... I was told it was North America because Stern Electronics eventually will port this at some other time, but I'm not familiar with Tago. This could have been only in North America or it could have been in other regions. Let me know if you've seen Calipso out in the wild. It's playing the attract mode for us now. Very interesting. All right, so the gameplay is... It looks like we're playing another like multi-directional shooter. We're going to be moving a character around and shooting on the screen, kind of like a twin-stick shooter. But it's the underwater theme, swimming around. Oh, wow. You're talking about the teletype or the original Oregon Trail? Yeah, that one we didn't play, the one that uses the paper that prints out. But we've already seen the first version that was available on the Apple II, just called Oregon. Oh, wow, that's a big one. All right, so let's go ahead and put a coin in and see what it's like. I'm putting money in. Anything? Oh, there we go. wanted to respond whenever it wanted to. Okay, so I'm at the top of the screen. I'm a diver. Let's see, where's my fire? There we go. So I got 8-way movement. Do I have 8-way? Yeah, 8-way shot. Okay, so this one's being programmed and controlled just like a game we played before called Tasmania. Tasmania looks like it's a twin-stick shooter like Robotron 2084, but it doesn't control that way. I have to stop before I can shoot. So every time I make a shot, I have to stand still. So make go right down to the bottom, pick up the treasure chest. Nice. All right, and then go, go, go. Can we drop it? Oh my gosh, I have to go without shooting? That's so dangerous. All right, I made it. I don't know how I did it, though. Yeah, before the famous Apple II version, we're not going to see for a long time. At least the Oregon Trail one. Oh my gosh. Really difficult when you can't move and shoot at the same time. We got a lot of enemies on screen as if we're playing Berserk, but no, you stand and can shoot the 8 different directions. Let's see if we can get this guy before he comes up. So you just make a wall of bullets and then they go. So in a way... Uh-oh, we got another one to pick up? Gosh, that's so difficult. So you don't have a way to shoot. You're totally vulnerable when you pick up the treasure to bring it back. All right, let's see if we can get our initials. Oh, no. What in the world? That was not responding. I have the 8-way joystick, and it wasn't letting me select the letters I wanted to. All right, let's try it again. And we can also do team play. Let me plug a second one in, and let's go with 2 players. Let's see how this one works. Wow, look at that. Oh, we already died really fast. So yeah, it's 2 players simultaneous play. Nice touch. Yeah, that's them going at the same time. Okay, we'll see if we can go to the next screen. Wow, that's pretty cool that you had access to that. There's so many games that were available on mainframe or larger systems before the trinity of home computers, and we didn't touch on those on the channel. I kind of allude to them and just say I know that they existed, but we didn't play them or showcase them. Wow, yeah, this is really hard. Whenever you don't have 2 joysticks to move and shoot at the same time, it would have done this one better. Kind of like I said with the game Tasmania in the arcade. Calypso would be playing better and be a lot easier and more fun to play if we had the twin stick. So I'm just going to hold here and shoot in one direction because I can't move and shoot at the same time. When we were playing the game Tasmania, it was brought to my attention that it may have been made this way to be easy for home ports, but this is all we get. Calypso is never brought to anything at home, at least to my knowledge. And now we just... Gosh, that's so hard. Yeah, I can't drop it to go shoot again. You just are totally vulnerable once you pick up the chest. Let me see if I can try it again. Yeah, I even tried pushing the button to shoot, but it won't let me shoot with the chest. You have to dodge your way out. Very, very difficult. While 2 enemies are coming at you. Gosh, that's really hard. That's true. It has the Popeye theme. We have not seen Popeye yet, the official Popeye. Yeah, that's not going to work. They didn't program the button to enter your initials. They programmed pushing down on the joystick to put in your initial. Very, very strange. Yeah, so I would say this isn't as polished as the other arcade games we played. I wouldn't call it a bad arcade game, though. It's still fun to shoot, and also the swimming mechanic's pretty cool. One of the first games we ever played was the Jungle King or Jungle Hunt arcade game. So that one's the only one I can think of off the top of my head as swimming around from this mode. Unless you want to think of us playing Shark, where we played as the shark in the water, swimming around. Yeah, I'm thinking average 2 mark, around 3 stars of all the arcade games we've seen so far. And the reason I would say that is because the 2 player at the same time. Working together to play would be a much better experience than 1 player, especially when you're picking up the treasure at the bottom on 2 players. 1 person could be shooting and the other person could be bringing the treasure in. Yeah, lots of enemies on the screen, though, reminds me of Robotron 2084. Just doesn't play as well as that. Yeah, probably 3. Yeah. Let's see, we got... Yep, as soon as we pick up the chest, the new enemy types show up, and gosh, that's really hard. You have no way to attack or defend yourself. You just have to get lucky. Come on. And then hope you get to the top before they do quickly. Yes, there we go, we got it. Wow. A lot of luck involved on that one. Manly's throwing out 3.5 stars, slightly above average, considering all the arcade games. I don't know, in a world where there's Frogger, Donkey Kong Jr., Jungle King, Pac-Man, Galaga, all the other ones we've seen so far, you can tell how Calipso was one not featured or not seen as much. But of all the games we've seen so far, I would still say Calipso is around average. 3 stars for Calipso. The 2-player mode is what would really make this shine. But I'm considering that for the 3-star rating, too. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to call those crabs, they look like crabs. Maybe they were the evil auto of Calipso. Wow. All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Okay, this is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons video game cartridge.
You have to buy it separately to play on the Intellivision video game system.
Mom and Dad have to hook it up to
I heard that voice so much on
commercials. We're trying to find the crown, but it's real easy to get lost. So don't be surprised if the dragon finds you first. Holy cats, you just killed the dragon.
Holy cats.
I didn't mean it.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons video game cartridge and Intellivision master component from Mattel.
See, all you gotta do, kids, is get a spot in the classic movie E.T., and then you just be found everywhere. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons for your Mattel Intellivision. Let's take a look at the box. Oh man, yes. The artwork is so cool. This is the very first Advanced Dungeons & Dragons video game. There is an official Dungeons & Dragons handheld that we played. Every other video game we played up to this point has been inspired by Dungeons & Dragons or an homage to Dungeons & Dragons. This is the very first Advanced Dungeons & Dragons video game. And the front of the box really shows it off. The words cartridge under Advanced Dungeons & Dragons had to be put there because of TSR Hobbies, who owns the rights right now to Dungeons & Dragons. And so they put the word cartridge there, so it's kind of small, but I would still just call this Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Let's flip it over the back. Journey to a land of treasure, adventure, and dark, dark danger. Lead a 3-man expedition through winding mountain caverns in search of tools and arrows. Within the caverns, deadly monsters lie in wait. Slay the monsters, overcome the obstacles of a hostile land, and enter the legendary Cloudy Mountain. Here you'll find the crown of kings and the deadliest terror of all, the winged dragons. Man, I remember the scariness of the monsters that you're going to fight because it's very quiet. I remember it not being very loud. So 1 or more people can play this. You have 4 skill levels, lots of different obstacles, lots of things to unpack because this is another game of firsts for home consoles. Let's see the other art we have for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. We have the cruddy and then the cleaned up box. Oh, fresh, clean box. Nice. That's right. It was called Cloudy Mountain later and then Crown of Kings. And there's going to be another one we see on Intellivision. Yes. All this during the Satanic Panic. So besides the box, we also have the ad you would have seen in comic books at the time. I believe this one was found in DC Comics. The video game where danger lurks around every bend in your quest for the golden crown. So cool. See, they still have the cartridge words below the game. It's the one you're going to play on the cartridge, just to make sure you know you're not playing real Dungeons & Dragons, the tabletop game. And it is Intellivision, so you got to know what the overlay is on your hand controller. Look at that. They got TSR Hobbies written all over it. This one actually is extremely complicated, but it does enough to make you have a really good time. Really? You still have the comics with the ads? That's awesome. Here's the cartridge we're going to pop in our Intellivision. So cool. With the artwork, it's fantastic. Let's see what the manual has for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons on the Intellivision. Really excited to play this one. Oh, look at that. Zoomed in pixel art. Nice job, guys. Yeah, that's where we are. The action. The 3-man expedition is pretty much like 3 lives. It's not like you're controlling a team of people. And this is also a kind of misleading game. It's not really a true role-playing game. This isn't true Dungeons & Dragons. It's more of like we're playing a advanced Berserk game, and we'll get into that when we boot it up. The cartridge is designed by one person to play against the computer, but 2 or more people can play. However, they take turns leading the expedition through the mountain. So even though you're leading a 3-man team, that's really just the lives you have. And every time that you die, you can switch off, the controller to one person or the other. You're all going to be sharing one controller. Yes. I don't know how the sales would be, because this was during the Satanic Panic. Did this even sell well? I asked that question when we play lots of games that feature Satan, Devil, or Dungeons and Dragons. So here's the controls. Once you have the overlay, the number keys are going to be how we shoot our arrows, and then if we want to move the expedition from the top view, we can, and then down at the bottom, you can count the number of arrows and check those. And then when you're inside of the cave, it changes up a little bit. The arrows shoot. You can run with the side buttons, picking up objects, and then exit the mountain, and then you use the disc at the bottom to walk around. The outside edge of the disc in any direction you want to walk around, and then you push the button on the side if you want them to run. And then when you begin the game, you select the skill level you want. You can do Soldier of Fortune, Weekend Adventurer, Sightseer, and then Hero, which is, I always find that confusing. On the Mattel Intellivision, the hardest difficulty was moving the disc, and most people are going to move the disc. So I'm sure there's a lot of people that played Intellivision games on the hard difficulty and didn't realize they had selected the hard difficulty. So as it gets harder, monsters move faster, there's fewer arrows, and that's why I like playing with lots of arrows. Only by mastering the art of monster tracking can you easily win the hardest level. Your expedition is represented by 3 blinking squares, and they begin the game with an overview map, like a top-down map for games we've seen on home computers, but not on the home console. Yeah, there was a huge smear campaign. So how did this game even sell? Maybe because the Intellivision didn't have a lot, because this game wasn't anywhere else. This is the only place you could play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's not on any other consoles. So when you're on the main screen, you have brown mountains, black mountains, forests, rivers, and some of these you can only cross until you get a certain item in the game. The color of the cloudy mountain reflects the skill level of the game, and the cloudy mountain is where your destination is. You got to get there to fight the dragon and get the pieces of the crown. If you play on easy, medium, hard, or medium hard, it shows the different colors of the mountain. And we have obstacles to pass by. The brown mountains are totally impassable. Black ones contain caves that give you passage. Rivers can only be crossed with a boat. Forests only can be cleared by an axe. Walls can only be crossed when you get the key. So the boat, the axe, and the key is what you're going to find inside of dungeons. Those are the tools in the game, and they can be used repeatedly. So once you have an axe or a key, it's just always there, and you can cross every time. So you shouldn't have to finish a dungeon with another key, because you already got the key. Without the right tool, you're only able to pass the obstacle. If you have black mountains, monsters or other nasty creatures and tools, and one exit. So I think they've been bringing on the colors, right? Yeah, they haven't brought on. Every mountain has a color represented by what's going to be inside. Like, for example, if you see a blue mountain, that's going to be one that has the boat inside of it. So you move your expedition around the top screen, and then you go down to the dungeons afterward. After you go inside the dungeon, you have quivers. There it is. Okay, so here's the different colors. If it's a gray mountain that you go inside, it's only going to have arrows to find. I guess everything has arrows to find, but if you have a blue mountain, that'll be boats. The boat will be found inside. Red will be axes, and then purple will be really hard. That's where you find the key. Then once you enter the mountain, they have the different cave systems. The game now switches to a kind of a progressively drawn a tunnel system. Really, really impressive for a home console. It scrolls around on the top-down view. It's so cool. Oh yes, it's great. Yeah, that's a good point with considering this console to the other ones out there. This one would be for the teenagers or older gamers, because it's a little more complicated to play, and the games have a little more depth than something like the Atari VCS. So you move your warrior through the cave system. Rooms and passageways light up as you go through, and you have arrows to shoot. The control of the game is really similar to the game we've already seen on the Intellivision called Night Stalker, where you're able to move and shoot at the same time like a twin-stick shooter, like Robotron 2084. But now you have a limited number of arrows. So you have to be picking up arrows and also counting the arrows, and you'll hear the number of clicks. So they don't display the number of arrows. You have to hear the clicks to know how many arrows you have left. You shoot the arrows, and that's how you destroy the enemies. And look for the tools in the cave, the boat, the axe, and the key. And then the monsters. Lots of different monsters to be found. The bat, the spider, or rat can be killed with one shot. A dragon, a demon, or a snake takes 2 shots. Blobs are indestructible. And a winged dragon takes 3 shots. In general, the harder a monster is to kill, the more dangerous it is. And they all have different types. There you go. You got pictures So helpful, of the monsters. They also have different sounds, and they have things that they leave behind, like tracks. So you get to track animals or monsters in the game, which is kind of cool. So there you go. You got the bat, the spider, rat, snake, blob, demon. That's obviously the dragon, and that's obviously the winged dragon. And then when you get hurt, your character's color determines how hurt you are. If you're black, you're strong. Blue means wounded. Red means seriously hurt. If you're killed, your warrior disintegrates. And if you're killed, another one takes its place. They'll show you on your party of three little dots when you have 2 dots left and then 1 dot left. When all 3 warriors are killed, the game ends. The strategy map appears with a tombstone on the spot where the last warrior died. Yeah, that's true. This has what I would call RPG or role-playing game elements to it, but it's not a true role-playing game. In a way, this game is so big because of all the console games we've seen up to this point, there is no role-playing. There's none. This is the very first role-playing element game that you could play of all of them out there. I just look back on our history of what we've seen. The only one that comes close of what we've seen so far would be Venture on ColecoVision, but that's it. So whenever you're ready to exit, you use the ladder and push the exit key on your hand controller. When you fought through and got the mountain cleared, and you had all the mountains to pass to go to the Cloudy Mountain, now it breaks down and tells you about finding the 2 halves of the Crown of Kings. You have to find that and return the strategy map with the crown. And then they give you some tips at the end of the manual, just like they do on the Atari. Nicely done, very well done manual. And there it is, TSR, who owns Dungeons & Dragons right now. They're blatantly all over the place. So this one, I have a prototype version and the TRS Hobbies version. Let's pop it and play Advanced Dungeons & Dragons by Tom Lowry. Published by Mattel Electronics and TSR Hobbies. It's August 18th, 1982. Oh, yes. The Beholder. They created that one. All right, so I want to pull up the game mode. We're going to do level 1. Look at all the legality on the front. And then from this screen, you're using your hand controller to move your expedition around. That's the 3 dots from the top screen. We got brown mountains that have no passage, and I just made a red mountain appear. I'm not going to go inside that one, but you can see every time I go close to a mountain, it's giving us different colors to see what's inside. All right, so we have passage we can get by with the gray mountain, but I want to go look for the boat, so we're going to go inside of the blue mountain. And then once we step on top of the blue mountain, now we go into the main screen. Look at this. The character you play as, or your party of 3, is represented right here in the center. We have that amazing animation like we saw with Night Stalker, but now the game is scrolling around and producing more rooms. Amazing. While I'm moving, I can also fire arrows, but I don't have that many. Let's go ahead and do a count to see how many we got. I think we only show 3. I only heard 3 clicks. It was kind of quiet. Yes. That's a good point, Curtis. This is like a real-time Hunt the Wumpus. So we already played that one, or the first graphical Hunt the Wumpus on the TI-99-4A computer. But I just have to stress this enough. This is a home console. This is the very first time you can play a home console game like this. Scrolling around, I mean, we did play Adventure on the Atari VCS, but, oh, no, the bat, oh, it's coming at me. Let's see. We'll lead him down this side. And then when you're ready to fire, 1 shot for the bat. Nice. Got an animation of his death going in the cloud of smoke. And every time you go down in the dungeon, every time you go to the top view map, it's all random too. So you get a different experience every time you play. This map, you won't be able to duplicate. You just have to go through the maze yourself. But the dungeon maze is going to wrap around kind of like a globe. We have to avoid the blob. That one's indestructible. So you can see another blob showed up on this side. We'll come back to that one. I'm looking around for the boat inside this part of the screen. And it is it's totally silent. You're meant to listen to the monster sounds as you get close. Oh, there you go. We got one. Pick it up. So we got some more arrows. How many do we got now? Oh, plenty of arrows. You hear all those clicks? It's kind of quiet, but that's number of clicks is how many arrows we have left. Uh-oh, no. Oh, he got us. So we appeared out of the darkness, and he killed us. So let's see if we can go back to his spot and take him out. So now we have the second adventurer in our party that's taken over, who looks suspiciously like our first adventurer. Yeah, this is one of the most impressive games you can play on a home console. There we go. 2 hits to take him out. Now, I don't want to exit yet, though. I want to go take out that dragon that killed us. You can see the tracks that they've left behind. All right, we've been this way. I don't think that's, no, that's not the right way. Let's go back up here. But every time you play, the overworld map's going to be different. There it is. We found the boat. Pick it up. Okay, now we can go for the exit. So I'm going to go find the ladder and make our way out of the dungeon. So they make the dungeon crawl a easier experience because you're not having to memorize too much. So now that we got the boat, I can move now, as the boat over the river. So I can work my way this way. Okay, so notice we have a gate here. I can't pass by until we get the key on this spot. But you're supposed to make your way all the way to the right side where the Cloudy Mountain is. All right, so this side, I can't remember. I think the blue, I think the deep red was the... Yeah, let's try this one out. Let's go in the red dungeon. So I'm going in to the red mountain. See if we can find a key to go past it. Got a bat, took care of him. Nice. That's a good point about Rogue, making the randomly generated areas like this. But that's still home computer. This is home console that we're playing. Oh, there's a lizard. Take him out. All right, we're looking pretty good. Uh-oh, I should have heard the sound of the snake. The snake made a sound, and that gives you the clue to not move forward yet. All right, so this is our last explorer. We're making our way down this side. And this is just a marker. Yeah, there's some key points where you can mark your position in the map. So we got to listen. See, I can hear the snake. It's making a hiss sound and moving through the maze. Yep, it's coming toward our location now. Oh, and that's right. The arrows also bounce off the walls. But they ricochet and they can't hit you, which means, yes, we just had our death. All three adventurers are dead. It's represented by a tombstone on the Red Mountains, so we didn't make it to the Cloudy Mountains on our first playthrough. Yeah, there's also a good point, Moria, but all that's still computer. We haven't seen any of this on a home console. All right, so I want to go in again because this is such a fun game to play. Let's go ahead and throw a reset out there. Let's do again level 1 difficulty. And then from the beginning outset, let's see how it's a different overworld, slightly different dungeons than we saw before. I'm just going to see what we have over here. Yeah, so all the brown mountains you can't pass. I want to get a boat to traverse, so let's go in the blue dungeon again. And the blue dungeon is totally different, so it's a different experience than we had before. We can see the blob from far away and hear the sound the blob makes. Yeah, as far as inventory management, all you have is the arrows in your quiver. That's why it's not a true role-playing game. It's more of has role-playing elements to it. Wow, that was close. Okay, so you see we went from black to blue, meaning we're not at full health right now. And as far as the elements you get, like the oh, here I can shoot off the wall and get him. There we go. Like the boat, the axe, and the key. Once you get that item, then that's all you'll need. You don't need to get another key or another boat. It just happens to work on the overworld map. Oh no, I'm out of arrows now. So I have to find a way to get the boat. I don't think I'll be able to now. Or I gotta find where the arrows are. Let's see, we'll make our way down this side. Oh man, no, if we don't have the arrows, then we won't be able to take out the enemies. So let's see if we can go over on this side. Or if anything, we'll work our way out, go pick up more arrows, and then come back to this one. Where are they? We know we have some. Every dungeon has at least one. Okay, we got it. We worked our way around and picked up the boat. Nice touch. All right, let's see if we can make our way out with the boat. It'd be great to get some arrows, too. All right, we'll head down here. No, he was guarding the exit. So if we did find the arrows, we can exit out. I think we still keep our boat that we picked up, and we'll be able to use that to cross rivers. So the gameplay experience, though, moving around this kind of maze and scrolling, you can't do this on a home console. In a way, we've seen stuff that's similar on... Oh, I don't know if I can get out of here without dying. Let's see. I'll lure him away from us. Come here, buddy. And then I'll exit out. There we go. Go quick. Oof. Made it. Okay, the only way... Oh, great. The only way out is through the red mountains. So we'd have to go through the red. Before we do, though, I'm going to send our explorers in the gray area. It's an easy dungeon, but it should have just arrows. So let's look for arrows since our current count is nothing, right? Yeah, we got nothing. Yeah, I'm already seeing the ratings out there. I'm thinking it's going to be high as one of the best games you could play on a home console so far. Because the only thing that comes close to this style on a console was Venture that we just saw on ColecoVision. And there's no role-playing games yet. There's also no scrolling like this from a top-down view. There is scrolling video games on home consoles, but it's mostly games like sports titles or scrolling like a shooting game or a shoot-'em-up. Not something like this. All right, I still have no weapons. Looking for the arrows. Okay, there's the bat. No, run. I just came in here to get some arrows and then get out so I can go to the red cavern. Okay, there we go. We got some, but it's being guarded by a lizard. So I got to lure him around. So you could think of the game as kind of like... it plays more like Nightcrawler or Berserk, but it has the limited inventory, where you don't have a lot of arrows to just fire and fire. It's the same control scheme, but the idea of limiting your inventory of the arrows will work. Okay, check it out. Let's fire. Yes! I love the ricochet mechanic. So cool. Yeah, I don't think we'll see that till 1983, right? Up to this point, though, this is one of the best games you can play on a home console. And also, if you don't have a home computer and you only have a home console, this is the closest right now you'll get to playing any kind of role-playing game. It'd be so cool if they added a two-player option. Their quote-unquote two-player just means once you die, you hand the controller to someone else and then they take over. It doesn't use the second hand controller. Oh, melee and inventory? Right, yeah, it's only the... Oh, no! I heard the sound. That's the other part, too, is you get used to what animal or what monsters nearby or not. Yeah, isn't it great? It's so much fun. A massive single-player experience on your home console. I wouldn't expect anything less from the Mattel Intellivision. All right, let's see how many arrows we got. That's a lot. So there's a few ticks that tell you how many arrows. It's just the sound you get. Make our way, building up the maze. So that's the sound of the lizard. And the longer you play, you start to pick up on which sound which monster does and know it's going to be in the next room. Like right there, that's not the sound of the snake. Here, let's shoot an arrow. Awesome. And use that to your advantage. I think you can shoot in the darkness too, but you just risk it bouncing back and hitting you. Yeah, like that one would have bounced back and hit us. All right, so we got some more arrows. Nice. Pick those up. Very well done. If I had a choice right now between Night Stalker or this, Night Stalker feels like more of an old school classic arcade game. This one feels more like you're playing an experience with an objective that has a longer... I'd be playing this longer than I would have played Night Stalker. There we go. Made it to the exit, and we're out of here. So now we have our... we only have one explorer left. One single dot that's left to play. We do have the boat, but we have to make ourselves across to the other side. So let's go ahead and travel through... Let's go to where we came before. And notice the blue mountains don't lead us to a dungeon because we already finished it. We can now make our way to the red ones. And this one is the new dungeon. Let's check our arrow count. Yep, looking good. Make our way down here. I hear the bat, but I don't see it yet. Okay, it's not in this corner. We'll keep making our way through this one. So the red area, I believe that one's going to give us the axe. Or it might be the key. No, the key, I think the key's purple mountains. So no sounds and no tracks. I loved the Hunt the Wumpus reference, Curtis. That's a good point. This is like real-time Hunt the Wumpus. And this is on a console, not on a computer. So much fun. And every time you play, it's randomly generating it, but it's not true like a roguelike, but it is making a random environment to play. Very impressive. All right, we got a little landmark there with the skull. Make our way up the top here. Don't hear anything. Oh! He got the jump on us. There we go. Got the lizard. This is our last explorer. There's the bat. And you can use the sounds to help you, because if you know an enemy's coming, you can go ahead and just shoot, make a shot in the dark to see what happens. All right, making our way here. All right, looking good. There's the invincible blob. All right, Victor's throwing out 4.5 stars. Yeah, of all the games you can play on a home console, this is one of the best. There you go. You see the ricochet going all the way around. So cool. All right, let's go up here. We might find the stairs this way. There, he's guarding. All right, that's it. How much do we have left? Okay, plenty of arrows. Nice. Okay, so we can go ahead and exit. I'm not going to get the treasure that's in this one. And now, since we got the boat, we can travel across the river, make our way to this side. Now, the forest area looks like this. It's almost looks like a marsh to me from this top-down view. But when you get the axe, you can work your way through the forest. Since we don't have the axe, we can't make our way through the forest. So I'm going to check all these mountains here. Looks like the only way we can pass through is we're going to have to find the axe in one of the dungeons to make our way around to the Cloudy Mountain. And then as you make your way over to the side, you eventually make it to the Cloudy Mountain and then fight the last boss, the winged dragon, and then find the pieces of the crown. So epic, so cool. It is not a true Dungeons and Dragons experience, but it's done with a great balance of action and using the complexity of the Mattel Intellivision. That's a good point. We're not going to see that until way later. 87, 88? Wow. So this is done phenomenally well. Of all the games we've seen on home console, I'm going full marks. 5 stars. Of all the games you could play up to this point, this is one that shouldn't be missed. For home console games, this one's king. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons is awesome in August of 1982. Mark's going 4 stars. Curtis throwing 4.5 stars out there. Nicely done. All right, it's time to put the video game playing on pause. That was a massive game. So many things, and I want to keep playing it now. Let's go back and play it right now. We'll have to continue next time, so tune in next episode where we find lemmings in 1982. That's it for today, and like I always say, everything's more fun with a digital joystick. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and Maine. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.